Another wild week of the NFL is behind us here. A lot of upsets, I thought, a lot of surprising outcomes, a lot of players continuing to do well. Like Sam Darnold just absolutely flabbergasting me week in and week out. Really did not think he would impress like this. I mean, against some of the best teams in the league as well. But good for him. I really believed in him when he first got to Carolina, and he looked pretty good through those first 3 weeks of his first stint there in Carolina. And then he fell off the train. And now, hey, 4-0, that's pretty gosh darn good, even if he doesn't continue quite playing to the same level.
Yeah, I mean, he is playing to the level that he was drafted to be, and we
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see that, previously, but it's crazy what he's been able to do on a 4-0 Vikings team that we predicted would have no more than 3 wins this entire season. So they're going
Yeah.
nuts.
Couldn't be more wrong about the Vikings, but hey, I mean, it's good for the game. I think I really underestimated how well coached they are. And that was the piece
Hmm.
that I just always ignored. Kevin O'Connell has proven to be a phenomenal head coach. And I think adding Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator has really shored up the defensive side of the ball for them. But we'll get into that. Let's start here by recapping week 4, going through every game, kind of talking about what happened. Thursday night football, Dallas at the Giants. Definitely not the most exciting game in the world here. Dallas does come out on top, but was a little precarious for them in a couple spots there. The Giants just couldn't really get into the end zone. I thought Daniel Jones played pretty well, though, all things considered. He was really dialing up Malik Neighbors, but just
Hmm.
wasn't quite enough to take care of the Cowboys.
Yeah, he was passing the ball like crazy. It was definitely a night I wasn't expecting from Jones. He had targeted Neighbors 15 times and Juan Diddler 14 times. I mean, you never see
Yeah.
those kind of numbers, I feel like, from the Giants receivers. It was tough for Neighbors to have the concussion, but positive trends for him as of late. So hopefully he is back in business and will be still able to play here.
Yeah, they really need him. Their offense is
Yeah.
completely useless, and they really don't have a run game. So they absolutely
Hmm.
do need neighbors involved. Then we had Cincinnati at Carolina. Cincinnati got away with the dub here, but their defense still not looking great. I'm really impressed with their offense, though, just really clicking against a decent Carolina defense. Obviously, we know how many points they put up against the Commanders last week, even in a loss. Joe Burrow looking really good. I don't think they're even playing their best ball, and they were able to kind of pull away from the Carolina Panthers here, despite kind of a late push. I think they did. I mean, it was like a 36-22 game, kind of like a weird score, I believe, somewhere in that
34
area.
24.
34-24. So yeah, I guess
34
the Panthers
24.
kind of made a late effort there. But yeah, I'm really happy that the Bengals got their first win here. I need them. They really need to be competitive. I mean, you can't have Joe Burrow on a deficient team. It's just not good for the league, not good for the sport. So at least,
Hmm.
they're still alive.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I was thinking in picking Carolina. I mean, they still put up a good fight, but to have the Bengals go 0-4 would have been ludicrous, especially
Yeah.
knowing that they were facing Carolina this week. But yeah, Carolina looks like a different team with Andy Dalton in there, and Bryce Young should be on the bench at this point because I don't know that he can carry the Panthers to any sort of win the way that Andy Dalton has kind of galvanized that team.
No, 100%. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's running the ball way better, just
Oh yeah,
elevating the team as a whole, even though they lost the game. But hey, they have the same record as the Bengals now, which is a crazy thought.
I know.
New Orleans at Atlanta, a little more NFC South action here. I hated my pick the moment I put it down. Like literally all week, I'm like, Atlanta's winning this game. Atlanta's winning this game. And so on Sunday, I wake up, slightly hungover. I'm like, I need one bet, one bet. So I take Atlanta plus. Now, what did I take? No, I took Atlanta minus like 2.5, and I got absolutely screwed on that. So I lost twice, right? Because what did they
Dang,
win?
bro.
26-24.
Yeah.
So I wake up. I'm like, the first thing I'm gonna do is take Atlanta and the spread. And yep, sure enough, they only win by 2. So that was tough for me because not only did my pick here lose, but my bet also lost. Just an absolute horrible sequence of events. I mean, I don't really feel like either team played great. Cousins, Carr, just very mid. They literally threw for almost the exact same amount of yards. Just, yeah, one of
Mhm.
those divisional games that's so hard to predict, and you almost just have to default to the home team.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Kind of a sloppy game. There were quite a few turnovers. I remember I think it was like Falcons turned the ball over, the Saints turned it right back over, and then the Falcons did the following drive. It was kind of a crazy sequence of events.
Yeah.
And I think that Rashid Shaheed actually fumbled one in the end zone at one point, and then the Falcons picked it up. Um, so yeah, just kind of sloppy. The Falcons offense didn't really look great. They didn't even have an offensive touchdown in this game. And their kicker just came in and clutched up for them with
Yeah.
4 field goals and ultimately kicked the game winner. But I don't know. I really thought New Orleans was going to win this one. They scored the tud with like a minute left in the
Yep.
game, and then
Yep.
Atlanta still marched down the field. And uh, I think it's Youngwei Koo. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Youngwei.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and he just clutched up, hit a monster field goal to win the game. But yeah,
Yeah.
good
So
for him. And it's going to be a close division here.
yeah,
I don't know. It really could go to any of these teams. Well, besides the Panthers, but
it
I don't
is
know.
going to be a
Even
close race. I mean, all
yeah.
the teams are locked up at 2-2, I believe, right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, with the Saints, yeah,
Bucks
didn't
three
leave
and one
enough. Yeah,
actually.
they left. Yeah, you're right. They left too much time on the clock, and the Falcons. Kirk Cousins, 2 wins, 2 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter with like barely any time left. So Kirk's been a little
Hmm.
clutch, although he definitely could have done the same against the Chiefs last week. And obviously, we all
Yeah.
know what happened there. But moving on to the next game, Jacksonville at Houston. This game was a lot closer than I kind of imagined. Houston
Hmm.
wasn't really leading for much of this game. I mean, the Jaguars held a lead for most of this game, or a good majority of it. Yeah, I think they were leading in the third quarter. Texans obviously come back to win it, but man, it's dangerous right now for the Jaguars. Thinking about Trevor Lawrence, first round pick. This is his fourth year, getting really treacherous. Is Mac Jones going to get some playing time? I know Trevor Lawrence had a couple touchdowns, but he's just not throwing the ball very efficiently. Only 169 yards. It was so evident the Texans had the better quarterback with CJ
Hmm.
Stroud, threw for 345 yards. Like, just absolutely insane. It's not even a comparison. This is literally like Tom Brady playing, those many just bum quarterbacks in New York or Buffalo for all those years during his reign in New
Hmm.
England. Just, is this what it's going to look like, during CJ Stroud's reign, just going to beat up on all these bad quarterbacks in the AFC South?
Yeah. I mean, totally, shocking here that the Jags start off the season 0-4. I mean, they're the only winless team at this point
Yeah.
through 4 weeks. And it's just not what we expected going in, and certainly not what we expected from this generational talent in Trevor Lawrence. So, as you said, very concerned for his future on this team, and it's crazy to talk about if their backup is going to receive any playing time, but it's a serious possibility at this point.
Yeah, it's got to be a debate, especially if he continues to lose. Like this week, they're favored. I think they're going to win. If they lose, though, we really need to have a conversation about it. But then we have Denver at the Jets. This was like a torrential downpour all game, I believe. So that's why it looks so weird from the box score. Denver was able to squeak out a win. I think the Jets missed the game-winning field goal, but they really should have never played the Jets, or the Broncos rather, this close. The Jets at home, much better team after what we've seen the first couple of weeks. This was a great opportunity for them to take, you know, the Bills, tie the Bills at 3-1 in the division. And really disappointed that they can't pull it off against a lowly Broncos team at home. Just, I could not express how disappointed I am in them. When I finally bought in, I'm like, I'm just going to ride the Jets to cover, and they don't even win. Just brutal. I mean, the Broncos are not a good football team, and they freaking come
Hmm.
into your house and they beat you by 1 point when it's pouring, and that really should play into your favor as a defensive, run heavy team.
Yeah, no, it's wild. A couple of things to note here. Um, I believe that the spread was like 8 points. The Jets were favored by 8 here, and the over/under was only 39, which is kind of wild when you see such a big spread when the over/under is still in the 30s. So Vegas was really leaning that the Jets would
Yeah.
just come in clutch here and get a big win, but evidently that was not the case at all. Super slow start to this game. I think there was like -7 yards of offense through the first
Mhm.
like 8 minutes in the game. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that's
think Bo
absurd
Nix had
behavior.
like negative 16-yard passing at the half or
Yeah.
some crazy stat like that. I mean,
Dude, it's ridiculous. He had 60 yards passing on the day,
yeah.
and Cortland Sutton himself had 60 receiving yards. So like it's almost all of his receiving yards were to
Yeah.
Sutton, and then he had one other receiver with 3 yards and then a few with some negative yardage.
Dude, I
It's
mean,
crazy.
we had more passing yards than some of the Broncos receivers on Sunday. It's
Yeah.
just crazy.
I know it's ridiculous, bro. It's absurd. I'm glad Bo Nix finally got his first touchdown pass, but
Yeah,
the
whoop-de
the
do.
yardage, yeah, the yardage is like a major problem. Like he's got to get this figured out.
Yeah, I don't know. They do need a better receiver. I mean, got Cortland Sutton, who I like, but they need someone else in there. But
Yeah.
this is definitely not the year to trade for anyone. All right, then we have Minnesota at Green Bay. Again, like I alluded to at the beginning of the episode here, Sam Darnold continues to impress. He did have a couple turnovers in this game, though, but it was pretty much too little too late when you score 28 in the first. I would say it's a little concerning. Like I said, you score 28 in the first. You only score 3 in the second. You also give up 22 points in the fourth quarter alone. Just a weird game. Jordan Love just slinging it. He wore a Brett Favre jersey to the game and lived up to the
Hmm.
name entirely. I don't think he was fully healthy. Probably not the best idea to bring him back like this. You lost anyways. You're 2-0 with Malik Willis. You're 0-2 with Jordan Love. Maybe just hold off on a week and let him rest up because he clearly wasn't fully healthy throwing those 3 picks, but still
Hmm.
tremendously productive. 4 touchdowns, almost 400 yards. And yeah, just not enough. I'm pretty sure their kicker missed 2 field goals. And so that was, more than the difference in the game right there.
Yeah, for sure. It reminded me of I think it was like on Thanksgiving or like Christmas or right around that time last year. I think it was the Vikings and the Colts were facing each other, and which team came back from like the 31 point deficit at halftime to win it? Do you remember?
That was 2 years ago
Okay.
when the Vikings came back from being like down
Yes.
by 30 or so points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what
When
this
yeah.
reminded me of. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm like sitting there checking the score, and I'm like, no way the Packers are going to come back from this. And they nearly did. It was just like you said, it was just a wacky game. Didn't expect it to go this way with the Vikings putting up so many points so quickly and then not doing anything for the
Yeah.
rest of the game. And Green Bay you know, made them a little bit scared.
A little
But
sweaty.
yeah, but fortunately, Vikings still
Yeah.
prevailed.
What it reminded me of was the Georgia Alabama game the night before,
Mm,
where
yes.
Alabama was up 28-0 and Georgia came
Yeah.
back to take a lead in that game. Wasn't quite to the extent that was here in this game, but it did
Hmm.
remind me like just blowing 28-point leads pretty much and making it a
Yeah.
close game for absolutely no reason at all.
Yeah, I was at dinner and I was watching that game and I was like, man, this is a joke. Like this is supposed to be like the game of the week that everyone's
Yeah.
tuning in for and it's 28-0 and Georgia was looking just like a bunch of bozos out there and they
Dude,
they
I
ended up
know.
yeah.
Next thing you know, they're leading the game. It was wild. We got to the bar, like I said. Alabama's up 28-0. After a couple rounds of Pong, I look back 34-31 or
Yeah.
34-33, whatever it was.
Hmm.
Absolutely insane. That game, if you're an Alabama fan, might be like one of the best memories you'll ever have in terms of your football team. But
Yeah.
I hate Alabama.
Talk about an emotional roller coaster
Yeah.
for those Alabama fans,
Yeah,
but
they definitely shit their pants a little bit when they lost that
yeah.
lead. But
Yeah.
anyways, back to the NFL. Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. This is another game that the team that jumped off to a big lead, almost kind of choked away. Colts were up pretty big early in this game, and Justin Fields was able to bring it back. He threw for over 300 yards, which I was pretty impressed with. Didn't really see much of that when he was in Chicago. And I'm telling you, if Anthony Richardson did not get injured, they probably would have successfully made the comeback. Colts put up 10 points in the fourth quarter, which was that difference. But Joe Flacco comes in, saves the day. I'm telling you, this guy really should be a starting quarterback, but everyone's trying to buy into these rookie young QBs. But we all know, I mean, Joe Flacco is better than Bo Nix. Joe Flacco is better than Jacoby Brissett. He's better than Deshaun Watson. We already learned that last year. He's better than Anthony Richardson. He's better than Will Levis. I mean, the fact that he's not starting, I mean, I think he'll probably start for a good while now that Anthony's out. And like I kind of said before the season started, Anthony Richardson plays a style of ball that is so injury prone just because
Hmm.
he runs everyone down. I mean, we saw this last year. This is almost the exact same spot in the season he got injured last year. I don't think it's as serious as last year, but hey, Colts fans, they might not be, they not be holding their breath, waiting for Anthony Richardson to come back because I think, Joe Flacco ain't so bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, this Anthony Richardson thing could be a recurring theme here. You did talk about it a lot in the offseason that this is, potentially quite problematic for him. And yeah, it did happen at the exact same time this year.
Yeah.
The question is it going to continue happening? I mean, if he's comes back, is he liable to have this happen to him again?
He definitely is. And even if he doesn't, he continues to have a horrible completion percentage and continue to turn over the ball. Joe Flacco gives you a better chance to win.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, let's
Um,
remember you lost to Green Bay and they're puking all over the ball with a backup
yeah.
quarterback who you've beaten before when he was in Tennessee. So I
Hmm.
don't know. It's just my 2 cents on it. But the Rams at Chicago. Really happy I called this win here. I felt good about this one. It was a good spot for the Bears at home. Rams coming off an emotional win where they could kind of just like, oh man, we beat the 49ers for our first win. We came back, just relax. Yep. You're still super injured. You're still not super talented. Matt Stafford, just super mid, not really score. I understand the offensive line's beat up. He doesn't have his main weapons, but he didn't play the greatest. You got Caleb Williams on the other hand, a lot more accurate, not a ton of yards, but efficient. Got the win. I think it was super aided by the fact that DeAndre Swift actually had a successful day running the ball, which we
Hmm.
really have not seen. I think he had like 80 rushing yards going into this game, and he had
He more than
93
doubled
in
it.
this game. Yeah, he more than doubled it. He had a ton of receiving yards as well. Huge fantasy day. So don't give up on him yet, fantasy owners. Don't switch on over to Roshan Johnson. DeAndre Swift's still the guy.
Yeah, it's about time, bro, because it was looking bad for him. I mean, he was basically non-existent in those first three games, and he really showed that he still has some gas left in the tank here, and it was good to see. I was pretty excited about the Bears acquiring Swift in the offseason, and I was like, the first few games, I was like, kind of a bit of a letdown. Like they
Yeah.
went through, they went through the offseason, acquired all this talent, got Keenan Allen, got Swift, they got Caleb, and then it was just like they weren't living up to the hype. But we started to see a little glimmer of that this past week, which was pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All right, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay, a game I definitely did not predict accurately. I really thought the Eagles, after what happened last year in the playoffs, would be able to come back and get this win here, even though it's on the road. But again, I kind of underestimated. I know I said this in our previous episode. I'd love to know the status of DeAndre Swift. I would love to know or not DeAndre Swift, no, what's his name? Devontae Smith, and also the stats of AJ Brown, both of whom ended up being out for the game. And that
Hmm.
really, I believe, would they have won with them? Maybe not. I mean, the Bucks really kind of blew him out there. Baker Mayfield with one of his classic, just throws it all over the yard, 347 yards, couple touchdowns, a rushing touchdown as well. Jalen Hurts, just not good, man. Like a couple touchdowns, I guess, but it was evident here again who was the better quarterback, and it was definitely Baker Mayfield, which A couple of years ago, you say Baker Mayfield's better than Jalen Hurts. There is no one ever agreeing with you. I mean, 2 years
Yeah.
ago, when Jalen Hurts took the Eagles to the Super Bowl, Baker Mayfield was playing for the Panthers and the Rams. It's crazy how things can turn. And I really do believe like the coaching for the Eagles is not great. When those coordinators left to be the head coaches of the Colts and the Cardinals, everything seemed to kind of go to shit for the Eagles. So I don't know. I think it's, turning up a new leaf here. This might be the first game where I'm fully sold on the Eagles. You lose to the Bucks in horrible fashions within the period of like 8 months. Like you lost to them in January like this, and now you lost to them in the
Hmm.
same exact way. This time though, it's on the road, so it's just like it might be time to sell that Eagles stock.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Are you also concerned about Nick Sirianni's
Oh yeah, he's
future?
gone. He's gone.
He's
He's
gonzo
gone. Yeah.
mid-season?
No, no, I don't think he'll be a midseason fire. He'll be an end of the season. I 100%, unless something drastic happens, and we could pull up their schedule here. They didn't win their division last year. We know that. So definitely, there's wins on the schedule for them, but I
Hmm.
feel like there's no way they win a Super Bowl, right? We know that. There's no way that they get to the conference championship, I don't even think. And what does it take for Nick Sirianni to get fired? I feel like they could make the playoffs and lose the first round, and he still gets fired. I mean, looking at their schedule here, they got a bye. They got Browns at home, at Giants, at Bengals, Jaguars, at Cowboys. Yeah. I mean, I see like 9 wins here at best, and that's going to get you fired. Yeah.
That'd be tough to go 9-8 and still get fired. But
I mean, he almost
it's
got fired
liable to
last
happen.
year going like 11-6 and making the playoffs. He almost got fired.
Yeah, that was more because of the tail end stuff, though. Like he went like 11-0 and then like 0-6.
Well, I feel like it's kind of bled into this year a little bit as well. I mean, they've lost
A little bit,
like
yeah.
9 of their last 11 games or some crazy stat like that.
Well, yeah, I guess that is fair.
So either way, though, moving on to New England at San Francisco, didn't really pay much attention to this game. This game went pretty much as I thought it would. Brock Purdy looking good, very efficient. The Patriots just kind of muddling along as we really imagined them to do all year. Jawan Jennings, absolutely incredible, 88 yards off of just 3 receptions. But the fact that Jordan Mason's been able to come in and really fill the void for McCaffrey, who we have no idea when he's going to be back. So good thing they have Jordan Mason in the wings. I mean, really, thank God for him.
Yeah, it's absolutely essential that Jordan Mason came in for the 49ers here. I don't know what's going on with McCaffrey, bro. They like on ESPN it says like you went to see like a German doctor this week to
Yeah,
something about like an Achilles specialist. So
right, right.
I don't know. Like how did he not know this going into the season? Because like he ruined everyone's fantasy draft.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah. Actually, I only had him in the guillotine league, which I got
Yeah.
eliminated from. But yeah, no, he
Mm,
absolutely screwed a ton of people over because he was the number one pick in almost every draft, I'd say. And he
yeah.
might not play a single down a ball this year.
I know, dude. It's so brutal. So brutal.
So we'll see how that all shakes out. Maybe they're just saving him for the playoffs. So he's so fresh. He's like a just
Hmm.
bubbling, blossoming berry by the time the playoffs roll around and he just explodes over everyone. It's possible. All right, Washington at Arizona. Another one I'm a little surprised about, but hey, I think it's finally time to give the Commanders some respect. Defense looks good. Obviously, Jayden Daniels has been playing out of his mind. It seems like every year there's another rookie that just impresses,
Hmm.
sets records. First it was Justin Herbert comes out, plays great his rookie year. Then you have CJ Stroud comes out, plays great his rookie year. Now we have Jayden Daniels who seems to be playing better than even CJ Stroud was at this point. I don't think it'll end up being that way. Like I think things will kind of regress down to the mean for them, but they played some good games. Jayden Daniels, super accurate. They got a good run game. And I mean, they're throwing the guys who you wouldn't even really recognize, like Omaid Zacchaeus. You got Noah Brown on the team here, who was on the Texans last year. Obviously, you
Hmm.
have McLaurin, but in this game, he wasn't even the leading receiver. So it's impressive what they're doing over there and scary again for the Eagles. This is why the Eagles probably will not win 10 games. This is one of the small micro reasons that Nick Sirianni will get fired because you can't just sweep the Commanders like you always do. I mean, I think last year the Commanders took them down to the wire both times, and they didn't have Jayden Daniels. I think one of those games against the Commanders went to overtime last year. So
Yeah, dude, craziness is going on in Washington here. Um, Jayden Daniels, I think he's completed like 55 of his last 60 passes.
yeah, no,
Those
you're
are
right.
those are
It's something like that.
crazy
Yeah,
number. Those are crazy numbers.
I
So
can't believe it.
definitely, yeah, definitely the most impressive rookie so far. And I think it was you mentioned Olamide. I don't know how to say it. Olamide
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus.
Yeah,
He was on like the Falcons and the Eagles, I think,
yep,
as well.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, coming into Washington, like no one even like knows who he is. Like he's not like one of the
Nah,
stars from those teams. I mean, this is like a
no,
third string receiver
right.
basically, and he comes into Washington and he's just taking the team to, you know, the end zone. It's so nice, bro.
Yeah, no, he's
Good for
making plays.
Washington.
Yeah, good for Washington. I'm glad to see that division a little bit more competitive instead of just the Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, Kansas City at the Chargers. I obviously took the Chargers last week, and I was feeling kind of good about it. I mean, the Chargers were up 10-0. They were tied at 10 apiece in the third quarter. We obviously know what happened. The Chiefs pulled away there at the end, but I thought the Chargers looked pretty good in this game until the second half. Couldn't get really much going offensively. Justin Herbert was pretty efficient. I really believe that you get Justin Herbert some better weapons, he'll be slinging it just like he was his rookie year. The offensive line kind of disintegrated a bit. He was kind of running all over the place. Mahomes turned the ball over quite a bit. He also basically broke his receiver's leg. Or
Yeah, let's talk injury,
I mean,
bro. We
yeah,
gotta
he
talk
he
injury.
took Rashee Rice out for like 10 weeks single handedly.
Very problematic. I mean, I'm sure he's feeling super bad, pretty guilty about this, but I mean, of course it was an accident, but man, that's brutal. I mean, Rashid was like wide receiver 3 or 4 through, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, no,
And
he's good. He's really good.
yeah, I mean, who are the Chiefs going to throw the ball to now? I mean, Mahomes is going to have to start favoring Kelsey again, and then it's like
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy's got to step up, and
hmm
he's got some big shoes to fill because Rashid was clearly the guy there.
Yeah, I swear if they trade for Devontae Adams, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm just gonna be like, dude, come on, come on. Like, let someone else eat, man.
Yeah,
Although, I mean, that would be a lethal combo. That would
I
be a
feel bad
lethal
for
combo.
Devontae though. He's just
But
wasting away his career in
trade
Vegas.
him to the Jets. I'm fine with that. Trade him to the Jets. Have him reunite with Aaron. Yeah, I'm in full support of that. Don't
That would
send him
be
to the
pretty cute.
Chiefs. I don't even think it would happen. There's no way the Raiders would trade him to a divisional rival, anyways. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Do you think he's gonna get traded?
no, I don't think so. At least not
Oh, okay.
midseason. I don't think so. But people have been buzzing about it. So,
Yeah.
all right, Cleveland at Vegas, a game that I don't really give a rat's ass about. This was one that I found hard to pick. Did kind of go back and forth there for a while. Browns up 10, tied 10 apiece. Raiders up 10 now. Browns kind of come back a little bit in the fourth quarter there. An ugly game quarterback wise. Same with, the Monday night game between the Dolphins and the Titans. And so, yeah, that's why it doesn't really do much for me. I really thought Gardner Minshew would play a little bit better. I know the Browns have a good defense and all that, but hey, I mean, at least they got the win. Raiders at 2-2, competitive in a lot of these games here, which is good. Just, yeah, I really was hoping for a little bit more out of Gardner Minshew,
Hmm.
especially, in a game like this where you can shine. I mean, the Browns, obviously, they're gettable. Good defense, but they're gettable.
Yeah, I mean Gardner only tossed up like 130 yards, so pretty
Yeah.
rough day for him. Brown's not looking great, bro. Deshaun Watson is not the guy anymore. They need to get him
No,
out of there. Their
they're
team was
paying him
so
too
much
much
better.
money. I know
Their
they're
team
paying
was
him too
so
much
much better with
money.
Flacco, bro. Like
Yeah.
it was a mistake to bring on
Yeah.
Deshaun again, and yeah, I'm ready for him to be
I
donezo.
know.
He's past his prime.
They just had no choice with how much they're paying him. Like they could not
Yeah.
justify doing anything else. I mean, I know you got to win bottom line, but it's so hard to not start him when I mean
Hmm.
he's playing like okay, like he's not doing anything like horrible, but
Yeah.
just can't win. Can't win.
Yeah. That's a
No
problem.
flashes, no flashes either. No like
No,
of the
no glimmers.
resemblance, yeah, where he goes crazy in Houston. Okay, Buffalo at Baltimore, Sunday Night Football. Baltimore blows out the Bills, and unlike the game where they blew out the Cowboys and almost blew it, they did not even let the Bills back in on this one. Josh Allen with a fumble there to kind of stunt that comeback, or maybe what could have been a comeback. Really thought, I mean, his hand was going forward, but he's got to be a little bit more aware there. Just, yeah, this was a tough spot for the Bills, going into a hungry Baltimore. They were 1-2. They needed this win. And Buffalo, it's just tough to go 4-0. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the Chiefs and the Vikings, the only remaining undefeated teams. Just tough.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't worry about either of these teams. I think they'll both still make the playoffs, barring, any crazy injuries or anything. But yeah, Buffalo's offense definitely was put in check a little bit here.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk much about this one. I'm a little bit salty about it still, but hopefully the Bills will reclaim their glory in my heart this coming weekend.
Yeah, right in front of your eyes too.
Yeah, and yours as well.
Yeah. All right, Tennessee at Miami, absolutely gross game. I'm only going to spend like 12 seconds on this. Yeah, quarterback play was poo. Will Levis gets benched. Mason Rudolph comes in, didn't really play much better. I don't know how the Dolphins were favored after bringing in a quarterback, literally days ago. Tyler Huntley, he's fine. He's better than Tim Boyle, but not when you just brought him in like on Wednesday. Makes no sense to me. Titans money line, best bet on the board, along with that Chargers +8, which I still hang my hat on.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But three QBs played in this game between the two teams, and they combined for like 210 yards. Like, is
Yeah,
that a joke?
yeah. This was a horrible game. It's crazy how contrasted it was by the other Monday night game where the
Hmm.
quarterback play was elite.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Why don't we just get right into that one? Because like I don't even want to
Yeah.
talk about the Tennessee
Yeah.
Miami game either.
I mean, I'm just so impressed with Jared Goff. Going 18 for 18 is so incredibly hard to do. I'm pretty sure no one's done it before. I think he set the
Hmm.
record there. I mean, it's not like he was just dinking and dunking it either. I mean, he threw for almost 300 yards. So
Yeah.
his yards per attempt absolutely was insane. Probably the highest yards per attempt, minimum 15 passes you'll ever see all season. I mean, it's 15 yards attempt. It's
Hmm.
crazy. I am just salivating at the mouth over Goff's performance because obviously he was not great over the last couple of weeks. He's not great against who did they lose to? Oh, the Bucks. Yeah, he did not play a good game there.
Right.
And even going into the second half, he didn't have a ton of production. He was like 7 for 7 or something. Then he catches the touchdown. Then he throws for a couple. Just like
Hmm.
ended up having a pretty big day fantasy wise. And
Huge
obviously,
day for Goff. And even
yeah,
Geno Smith though too. I mean, he played
yeah,
out of his mind. He threw for 400 yards, threw
yeah,
more than three times as many passes as Jared Goff. But I mean, he needed to when they're
yeah,
playing from behind. And yeah, definitely a Monday night game to watch. Stay away from the Titans
no.
Dolphins game.
It was just crazy. I mean, they played well, the Seahawks did, but their defense couldn't get a stop. The Lions just scored at
Hmm.
will, as fast and as much as they wanted to score. It really was never in doubt for them, despite, it's like 28-20 now. Nope, now it's 35-20. Oh, it's 35-27. Nope, it's 42-27. It's just whoever, when the Lions had the ball, like they were scoring. Like they just could
Yeah.
not force a punt out of them. So yeah,
Hmm.
there is week 5 for you. Let's dive into the best bets here real quick. I think I probably washed, probably came out pretty even, but I'm not really sure the math on that. Dallas -4.5. What a crisp cover there. Couple of crisp covers this week. 4.5, they won by 5. Chargers +8. They lose by 7. So that one worked. Jets -7. We already talked about that. Really disappointed. Tennessee -1. Really should just take him on the money line. But, once the Dolphins picked up the, yeah, Tyler Huntley, they became favored by 2.5. It was crazy. Tennessee money line was such a good bet. Buffalo, Baltimore under 45.5, another crisp cover, 35-10. That's what I like to see. Although, if I waited, the over under actually went up to like 47.5. So a little bit more breathing room. Couple losses here. Pittsburgh, Indianapolis under 40. I really am surprised. I mean, I guess it's the Joe Flacco effect. Joe Flacco comes in, he boosts that score up a little bit. Same thing. Rams, Bears, I really thought would go under 41. Just, yeah, it wasn't even like it was over by a ton. It just, the Bears scored a little bit more, Chargers scored
Mm-hmm.
a little more than I thought. Cleveland, Vegas over 37. No, this was one, it was 36. So I guess you win some, you lose some. Philadelphia minus 2.5. Again, really surprised just they came out so flat. But it's tough betting the games on Tuesday without knowing the status of the number one and number two receivers. In terms of college, Washington Rutgers under 46. That one hits. Baylor plus 3.5. Almost hit, but it did not. Nebraska minus 10. Easy money. Louisville Notre Dame under 48. Another one that I thought for sure would go under because, hey, it's rainy. It's missing out. All those fumbles early on, but they honestly, instead of just leading the stalemates, led to more points. So that one went over. You had Oklahoma minus 2, thanks to Peyton Thorne's little pick 6. Mississippi State plus 38.5. That was a really good bet. Clemson minus 21.5. Clemson, I'm just riding them until they don't cover. Georgia money line. We all know what happened there. LSU minus 22. That was a good cover. They finally covered this year. Michigan State plus 25.5. Close. No enchilada, though. They were not able to, put a couple more field goals on the board for me.
Good stuff, dude. You were actually 10-9 this past week, and
Yes. Let's
ultimately
go.
you were up 0.09 units. So
Hey,
positive week
dude.
for the books.
I'm all about them fractional units, man. It doesn't matter how
Yeah,
much, as long as I'm up.
love that. You're 43-38 and 1 on the year so far. So you are positive. Good stuff, dude.
I'll take it.
I don't even want to discuss my record right now, but did not cash the Bills money line bet. Currently, it would appear that I am living in a home right now. However, I am actually homeless. I'm just stepping inside a friend's apartment for the moment because this
Yeah.
I was evicted after I put the mortgage on Buffalo money line. Guys, I'm gonna try and get back to it, but like I have missed my last like I think I've hit 2 of my last like 14 bets. It's pretty
Hey,
embarrassing. I mean, I don't know.
the Bills are in plus money again this week, so you can get right back into the high rise if they pull it off and you bet on them.
Should I include them in the best bets? I'm a
I don't
little
know.
worried,
I mean,
bro.
how do you not? How do you not bet
I
on your boys when you
but
go
I'm
to see
picking
them?
I'm picking Houston to win this week though, dude.
Yikes. I can't believe it. I'm shocked that you're picking Houston.
I just feel like they look like the better team.
No, I mean, I agree with you, but I'm still surprised you're taking them.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. We'll get to that in a minute.